Hello viewers, welcome to the other session of Postgraduate Diploma in Environmental and Occupational Health. Today we are going to discuss about in agricultural sector. So in agricultural sector so far we have studied so many things in what type of agricultural equipment and what type of agricultural technology we are dealing with. Today we are going to discuss about manures as well as biofertilizers. So, in this class we have to learn some of the important factors about manures. In the next session we will discuss about the biofertilizers. I am Professor Rupini. I would like to bring some of the important factors of the manures which are important component in the agricultural industry. Everyone experiences and know about plants require a number of soil nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur for their growth. But soil nutrients levels they can decrease over time because of so many factors. When crop plants are harvested, as nutrients are not returned to the soil back. So, these essential nutrients need to be compensated either through the natural process of decomposition when plants die and decay and the nutrients extracted from the soil that return to the soil, or some other mechanism or by the easy means of adding fertilizers. So, fertilizers maybe there are so many types of fertilizers are there. So, what are fertilizers? Fertilizers are substances which are used to add nutrients to the soil to promote soil fertility, and also it increases the plant growth. So, today fertilizer has become essential factor as well as the important criteria to modern agriculture to feed the growing population. So, use of fertilizers, especially we can say that the chemical fertilizers or the synthetic fertilizers that have brought in maybe blessing, we can say that, to the humankind. So, that helped to contain the hunger as well as death in different corners of the world, and also it may increase the crop yield. So, these chemical fertilizers, what it will do? It will increase the crop production, and also their overuse definitely has a adverse effect on the soil, like hardening of the soil or the decreasing in the fertility, and also sometimes it strengthens the pesticides. So, these all these things will pollute the air, water and also the release of greenhouse gases, and in turn it bringing the hazards to the human health and the environment as well. So, it has already been proved how a chemical fertilizer pose serious challenges to the agricultural growth as well as the balanced and sustainable growth. So, scientists on the basis of their research, they are seen in favor of organic fertilizers as the best solution to avoid soil pollution and also the general environmental pollution by the pesticides or the fertilizers. And also it is a threat to the general environment and also the life which is caused by the overuse of chemical fertilizers. Definitely it will decrease the quality of soil. So, the salt content is one of the most critical characteristics of chemical fertilizers. So, what the salt content will do? It will expected to be harmful to agriculture in the long run because the salts are harmful for plants as well as the soil also. That means everything should be in a limit, that whatever it is the value. So, the continuous use of these chemical fertilizers that depletes essential soil nutrients and also minerals which are naturally found in the fertile soil. So, when we use the chemical fertilizers, what they will do? They do not help to replenish the soil nutrients again, and its fertility definitely to the replenish only nitrogen as well as potassium and phosphorus. So, it will not replenish all these natural micronutrients. So, and we know that phosphorus does not dissolve in water, and its overuse definitely cause the hardening of the soil. Apart from these, alkaline fertilizers like sodium nitrate that develop alkalinity in the soil. So, once the sodium nitrate develop alkalinity in soil, it will definitely reduce its fertility and also making it barren. So, soil fertility and vegetation that depends much on the balanced supply of the all essential nutrients as well as the minerals. So, the overuse of specific nutrients that definitely cause the imbalance in the supply of soil nutrients and further resulting in soil degradation and the loss of equilibrium of a stable soil. So, with this introduction, I would like to bring some more important factors of the manures in this session. So, what are manures? So, manures are organic in nature, plant or animal origin, and also they contain the organic matter in large proportion and also the plant nutrients in small quantities and used to improve the soil productivity by correcting the soil physical, chemical and biological properties. So, is there any difference between the manures as well as the fertilizers? So, what is fertilizer? Fertilizer may be material that have the definite chemical composition with a higher analytical value and capable of supplying plant nutrients in available forms. So, now we will understand that there are nowadays you must be knowing and then you must be listening and you must be reading about the organic farming or organic fertilizers or organic manures. What is meant by organic especially? So, the word organic will be used in different situations in different subjects also. For example, in chemistry, an organic compound are any substances that contain carbon based compounds, especially produced by or derived from the living organisms. If you will see the agricultural meaning, an organic food, organic fertilizer, or if suppose if it is an organic compound, organic product. So, that means any food that is originally grown, that is grown without using or applying synthetic pesticides or synthetic fungicides or inorganic fertilizers or preservatives like that. So, if you will see the meaning of organic in biology, that is pertaining to, derived from or similar to an organ of a body like this. So, we will see that what type of organic manures are available and then what are their benefits. So, manures are what we have understood so far. Manures are plant and animal waste which are used as a source of plant nutrients. What they will do? They will release nutrients after their decomposition. So, the collection and using of these waste from animal as well as human or vegetable sources for improving crop productivity is an old agricultural practices. But manures are the organic materials that derived from animal, human and plant residues that contain plant nutrients in complex organic forms. So, naturally occurring or synthetic chemicals, they contain plant nutrients, they are also known as the fertilizers. So, manures with low nutrient content per unit quantity, they have longer residual effect apart from improving soil physical properties when compared to the fertilizer with high nutrient content. So, what are the major sources of the manures? So, there are number of natural sources are there, that is a cattle shed waste, dung or the cattle urine and slurry from biogas plants. And if we will consider the human habitation wastes, that is human urine or otherwise town refuse or sewage, sludge, as well as the some other garbage, that is a biological garbage, we can say that, and poultry and then droppings of the sheep as well as goat. And if you will consider the slaughterhouse waste, bone meal, meat meal, blood meal or horn and hoof meal or fish waste, these are also used as a manures. And some byproducts of agro industries, oil cakes are there, bagasse and press mud, fruit and vegetable processing waste like this. And crop waste are also used as a manures like sugarcane trash and also stubbles and other related materials, and weeds and also water hyacinth and tank silt and all silt, tank silt and also green manure crops and green leaf manuring materials. These are also used as the manures. So, the manures are, they can also grouped into the bulky organic manures or concentrated organic manures based on the concentration of the nutrients or the nutrient quality. If you will see the bulky organic manures, the name itself indicates that it contains the larger quantity, applied in a larger quantities, but they contain small percentage of nutrients. And some other manures are also considered under the bulky organic manures. Farmyard manures are there, compost and green manures are the most important and widely used the bulky organic manures. So, what are these bulky uses of the bulky organic manures? What they will do? They supply plant nutrients like micronutrients, and also they improve the soil physical properties like structure, water holding capacity, and also they increase the availability of the nutrients, and also the carbon dioxide released during the decomposition of any of the process of the decomposition as carbon dioxide fertilizer, and also the plant parasitic nematodes and also fungi. They are controlled to some extent by the altering the balance of the microorganism in the soil. If you will see the concentrated organic manures, what are the concentrated organic manures? That is the farmyard manure, that is a FYM normally we can call it as. It is partially contains the dung, urine as well as the bedding and straw. So, because dung normally comes from this all the cattle field and also the mostly as undigested material, and also the urine from the digested material. So, more than 50% of the organic matter which is present in dung is in the form of complex products that consist of the lignin and protein which are resistant to further decomposition. So, therefore, the nutrients which are present in dung are also released very slowly, so that whenever it required it will take. So, the nutrients from urine that becomes readily available, and dung contains obviously almost 50% of the nitrogen and 15% of the potassium, or the potash normally we can call it as in this utilization form, and almost all of the phosphorus which is excreted by animals, and also straw, sawdust or other bedding materials, they are also used in the cattle sheds to reduce the loss of urine and also to increase the bulk manure. If you will consider the quantity as well as quality of a farmyard manure, that depends upon the type as well as the age of the animal, and also the way they are fed and the care taken to collect and store the material. That means collection as well as storing is also some skill is required for better manure. And the next order is the compost. So, we all know that the compost is composed of organic materials and which are derived from the plant and animal matter which is decomposed largely through the aerobic decomposition. So, the large quantity of fresh crop residues on application directly in soil, they cause extremely severe nitrogen immobilization and also the development of excessive reduced condition in the soil. So, to overcome these problems, organic residues are piled up, moistured and turned occasionally to aerate, and also allowed adequate time to decompose partially and bring down the carbon nitrogen ratio to about 30. So, this entire process is known as the composting. So, the compost which is utilized for the improving or maintaining the soil fertility, so obviously it is required to collect as well as store it properly with the quality. And the collected organic refuse, that definitely will be, maybe it contains the rural or the urban in origin like straw, leaves, paddy, husk or the groundnut husk as well as sugarcane, trash, bagasse, and also crop residues are city garbage and sewage and kitchen and vegetable waste and clippings, water hyacinth and also other residues which counting the organic matter. So, during composting under thermophilic as well as mesophilic conditions in windrows, heaps are pits which are which they have to be adequate moisture, and also the aeration are essential for this composting process. So, the final product is brown to black colored humified material which on addition to soil that replenishes the plant nutrients and also maintains a soil organic matter content that helps in improving the physical, chemical and biological conditions of the soil. And the most important composting method is the vermicomposting. So, it is a vermiculture, we can say that we are using the vermiculture. So, that means that is the culturing of earthworms. So, a lot of research has been done. So, in vermiculture, it has been paid by the large producers and farmers as earthworms. They have understood now they play very major role in soil improvement. So, the organic matter decomposition and also it enhances the quality of agricultural produce. So, vermicomposting is applied for composting various non-toxic organic solids and also liquid waste which are available from the cities, dairy farms, sugar as well as the distillery units from the industry, pulp and paper mills and also tanneries and fermentation industries and food processing units. So, what these earthworms will do? So, how we can use these earthworms for vermicomposting. So, these earthworms are used as the biodegraders for composting like refuse after the thermophilic activities have been subsided. So, in vegetable and plantation crops and also where the mulching procedure occurs, that with organic debris is a common practice. So, application of this vermicastings at the rate of 5 tons per hectare as the first layer is highly recommended. So, vermicastings consist of excreta of earthworms and also the cocoons which are released by them are rich in organic matter and plant nutrients. It is very surprising and it is very natural also. So, in the presence of vermicast, the decay of organic refuses and the formation of compost is accelerated. The process that could be not at all interrupted by the addition of dung and other organic waste at regular intervals to serve as food sources for the earthworms. If we will see the advantages of this vermicomposting, whatever we have discussed previously, the first one is organic waste are broken down and fragmented rapidly, that means in a quick succession, and also through the earthworms that results in the stable non-toxic materials which are potentially high economic value. They are used as a soil conditioners or sometimes it is used as a soil fertilizers in agriculture and horticultural practices. So, this with composting process, the vermicomposting that provides a reduction in waste bulk density, and also as an aerobic process, this composting leads to nitrogen mineralization. So, especially in this vermicomposting, the earthworms increases as well as accelerates the nitrogen mineralization rate. That is also one of the biggest advantage. So, the humification process is greater and also faster during the vermicomposting method. And also if we will consider a decrease in fulvic acid carbon and fulvic acid carbon and also increase in the percentage of humic acid carbon which are observed in the vermicompost. The humic substances that show an increase of 40 to 60%, it was very high than the value additionally obtained through composting process. And vermicomposting also brings down the availability of heavy metals when compared to the normal composting. And another advantage we can see that the hormone like compounds, that is the auxins, which are accelerate the plant growth, and higher percentage of germination that have been recorded with the vermicompost than with the compost. And another advantage is the chemical analysis of vermicompost and compost have shown slightly lower pH value for vermicompost and slightly higher nutrient concentration, particularly of the nitrogen. So, it is very common for vermicompost to have very low concentrations of ammonia, nitrogen, and also very high concentration of nitrate nitrogen. So here the nutritional value of vermicompost that depends upon the raw materials which are used for the feeding. And another important manure apart from the vermicompost is the green manures. So what is green manure? Again, it is not harmful. So that means how can we define this green manure? It is a practice of ploughing or turning into the soil undecomposed green plant tissues for improving physical structure as well as the soil fertility. Our own green plants are using as a green manure. So whenever feasible, it is the principal supplementary, that means of adding organic matter to the soil. So the green manure crops that supply organic matter as well as the additional nitrogen, particularly if it is a legume crop, due to its ability to fix up the nitrogen from the air with the help of the root nodule bacteria. So the green manure crops, they also exercise to protect action against the erosion as well as the leaching of the soil. So green manure is to be incorporated in soil before the flowering stage because they are grown for their green leafy materials. So that time they are high in nutrients and also protects the soil. So green manures will not break down into the soil so quickly, but gradually, slowly, and some nutrients to the soil for the next crop. So we will see the advantages now. What are the advantages of the green manures? So the usage of the leaf greeny manure is advantageous both crops as well as the soil, because they decompose rapidly and it is easy to retain the organic matter in the soil, and they improve both physical and chemical properties of the soil. They also provide energy to the microbes, and not only that, they provide nutrients to the standing crop and also to the next crop. Apart from that, the green manure crops to the soil acts as a mulch and prevent soil erosion. That means it helps not only to the crop but also to the soil, and leaching of the nutrients in the in light soils that can be prevented by the addition of green manures. And cultivating green manure crops, that is also one of the biggest industry that can control the weeds. So majority of the green manure crops being legumes, use of nitrogenous fertilizers that can be minimized. So there are different leafy manure crops that can be cultivated are cowpea. That is one of the important leguminous green leaf manure crops. We must have seen so many times this cowpea plant, and this plant is easily decomposable and also very well suited for the green manure purpose. Especially in June-July seasons, that is the best season for sowing of this manure. Even though it is being cultivated in summer months, but the use of effective rhizobium bacteria that increases the fixation of nitrogen up to 40 kilograms per hectare. And another important plant is also there, Sesbania aculeata. Normally we can call it as daincha. It is suitable for loamy as well as clayey types of soils. It is resistant to drought as well as the stagnation of water. It grows well even in the alkaline soils, and also corrects the alkalinity if grown repeatedly for 4 to 5 years. And also the use of effective rhizobium strain with seeds that fixes the nitrogen 1 kilogram per day. And another Sesbania species, that is a speciosa. It is a valuable green manure for wetlands, and especially it is grown in a wide range of soils. Seed production is obviously prolific in nature, but pods are frequently attacked by insects. So that means the growth is also we have to check properly. So it can be planted in a single line at 5 to 10 centimeters apart in the borders of the fields, and also 90 days of course it is in about 90 days it produces about 2 to 4 tons of green manure per hectare. So, it does not affect the rice yield by shading or the root effect. It is also a second rice crop is planted immediately after the first crop. And also another important plant, that is a green manure used as a green manure, is also there, that is the Crotalaria junicea. So, it is a quick growing green manure crop, and also it is ready for incorporation in about 45 days after sowing. So, that will be also fruitful in nature. So, it does not withstand heavy irrigation that leads to the flooding. So, the crop sometimes it is subject to complete damage of leaf eating caterpillars. And another important green manure plant is this is also the same species, that is a Sesbania rostrata. It is in addition to the, that is a root nodules, it produces nodules in the stem also. So, the stem nodulation is also the adaptation for the waterlogged sanitation, because that flooding limits the growth of the green manures and may reduce the roof nodulation. So, under the normal condition, both root as well as stem nodules are effective in nitrogen fixation. So, another important crop is the calotropis. So, on residues, and also normally it grows in the roadsides as well as the fallow lands, and the plant grows wild under different soil as well as the climatic conditions. So, the leaves are also more succulent also in nature, and a plant can produce about 4 to 5 kilograms of green matter. Besides, it also helps in controlling soil borne pests like termite. So, with these I would like to conclude this session that agricultural production that increased in the recent past increased due to technology intensive agricultural activity. Use of synthetic fertilizers, perhaps the essential for growing fertilizer responsive crop varieties. But the environmental concerns which are associated with the excessive use of the synthetic fertilizers brought to the forefront the need for the alternative to synthetic fertilizers. So, manures are more important, especially the green manures, as they have potential to cater to the demands of the agriculture and also the maintenance of ecological integrity of soil ecosystem. So, with these I would like to conclude over here. In the next session we will discuss the biofertilizers. Thank you.